Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mark from Solo Games, and guys, we got it. The One Ring has been found. Yes. PSA earlier this morning announced, it was pretty early, they announced that they have graded the One Ring, and it's PSA graded, so somebody pulled the thing, sent it to authentication, which, if you know how this process works, let's say you expedite the mail, send it to them, that's got to be at least a couple of days. I'm pretty sure the person's really excited when they opened it, so they probably send it off really quick. And if they finish grading today and all the authentication work, and today's Friday, I'm thinking the earliest that this person could have sent the ring in was probably Monday or Tuesday of this week, meaning they probably pulled it from the weekend, so around that era. So, and that's the earliest, because this person could have opened the ring, did nothing with it for a long time if they're really smart, and then started buying up collector's boosters, start selling it back into the market, and then, right, and then send it off to grading. So, a couple interesting things I thought was kind of fun. I don't know if normally PSA would do this thing where they would announce all the high polls, whatever, then the major mega polls, you know, and just like put you on blast. Or did they talk to the owner of this card and say, hey, by the way, we're going to do this thing. Are you okay with that? I hope they talk to the owners and this is not just like a, hey, this is supposed to be a secret thing and now it's like out there. Now, I hope they did that, and I think probably the owner's okay with it, which is why we're in this spot. It is, however, anonymous, so we don't know who the owner of the one-of-one ring is, but it has, and it does mean that it has been pulled, which immediately, if you look at the secondary market for the collector's boosters, it has completely collapsed, right? We've gone down from the $525. I remember people in my comments are telling me about stores selling this as high as $600. Okay, so LGSs, look, you had a good run. People were buying this thing, and you're making good money. When you went to $600, you got greedy. And guess what? You're not going to be able to sell that for $600. You're not going to be able to sell it for $500, not even $450. The open market pricing for this thing right now is around $350. And I think it's still going to go lower, yes. Are there more like chase cards in there? Absolutely. You can still pull, you know, your soul rings, whatever, serialize this, serialize that. But the golden ticket has been pulled, guys. Somebody won the Mega Million. So who's going to care about buying more lottery tickets for like 100K? Look, 100K is still a lot of money, right? But it's not Mega Million money. So there's that. Now, do I think this thing is authentic? Yeah, I think so. Like, I don't think PSA is going to go out there and put this thing up on like, you know, Twitter and everywhere else if they don't, with very high confidence, believe that it is a real card. Now, I do find it kind of funny that they graded this thing as a 9, and I find it even more funny that the person who submitted this thing went to PSA. I guess they could have gone to Beckett. Well, what I was going to say is, because Beckett normally, right, BGS, normally grades with subgrades, and that's why I personally prefer Beckett, because I like to see the subgrades, corners, surface, etc. Whereas PSA just gives you one grade for the whole card. A 9 is honestly what I expected, because remember what I told you about the video, when we saw the video of the guy holding it with the gloves, it was already curled. And so I don't know how good the card could get graded if it's already in that condition. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is with these like highly collectible cards. And it sucks that a one-of-one item can't be graded at Gem Mint 10 out of 10. But to be expected, and I applaud PSA for doing the right thing and not like overgrading this card because it is such a hype card. I think it's actually great that it's graded a 9, not a 10. I suspect though that the owner of this card may crack the case, send it for regrading, maybe send it to somewhere else. Now, if they send it to Beckett, there's actually quite a big risk because Beckett will tell you why it's going to be graded a 9. And likely Beckett's grading usually is pretty hard because there's a difference between getting like a 10 and getting a Gem Mint 10, which is like where you get 10 on a quad 10s, right? All 10 on every subgrade and a 10 on the card. That's harder than just like, sometimes they'll give you a 10 with like a 9.5 on one grade or something like that. So there's room, but with Beckett, it's really hard to get that perfect score. And so you're almost like, you're taking a huge risk sending cards from Wizard of the Coast over there. Now, other card games that make much higher quality prints, you may actually get a Beckett like quad 10, right? So, but at the same time, because they're such high quality, it's not as rare. So there's that. And then let's move on to like the offers, right? So as everyone knows, there's a pending offer out there. The public one that I've seen is the $2 million from this game store in Spain. And of course, it's actually 2 million euros, so it's a little bit more. It's like 2.16 million. And it includes a trip to Spain, all this other stuff, sightseeing, hotel, all the fun stuff, right? They're gonna wine and dine you while they buy the ring from you. The question now becomes, are they gonna offer that? Because I have a pending offer for 3.33333 million, right? And but I guess I'm only looking for a Gem Mint 10, so I guess I can't buy your one ring. So somebody else who has a Gem Mint 10 quad 10s, please offer or send that ring to me. Okay, all jokes aside, are they going to offer this? My guess is no. My guess is they're going to weasel themselves out of this because 2 million euros is a lot of money, and I don't think they're actually going to pay that much. And here's why. As I was looking online, kind of looking at what the last card that's like at this caliber was sold, I think they were the Gem Mint Alpha Black Lotus signed by Chris Rush. So it has the signature on the case, not on the card itself. And those were sold for $250,000. So I don't think someone's going to offer or pay this much for the 1-of-1. Personally, I don't think that's worth it. But of course, the population report of a Alpha Black Lotus 10 out of 10, a 10 PSA 10 Alpha Black Lotus is higher population-wise than this card. So there's a little debate there. But I would still say that also, like, with respect to getting Chris Rush's signature on those cards, now that it's impossible, does make those Alpha Black Lotus that are signed a little bit more meaningful. And worst case scenario, if you don't like the fact that there's a signature on it, you crack open the case, you get a raw card that you already know it's Super Gem Mint. You could regrade it without the case. You can regrade it and recase it in something else that will not have the signature if you don't want it, right? So lots of options to kind of deal with that. I don't think the one ring is really worth that much money. And even now, given that it's not a Gem Mint 10, it makes me even less think that stores are going to offer like the 2 million that they were saying. Now, however, somebody probably will still pay a good chunk of money for this card. So there's some rumors, all this is rumor mill at this point, that this is sold already, meaning somebody already sold the card. It's going through grading, but it's actually already has a buyer because like the bounty was already kind of like taken months ago. I don't know. This is where it gets a little like, tinfoil hat. We just have to know the story once it comes out. Right now it is anonymous. And then lastly, on the point of anonymity, the other shadiness that we still don't know is who is this anonymous person? Because my theory is still active that this is some small-time content creator that pulled the ring. Because remember, they have to have someone pull this ring. Because the worst thing that can happen to Wizard of the Coast at this point is if no one pulls the ring, and it makes it look like Wizard of the Coast is holding back product against the customer base. So they have to make sure somebody pulls this ring. Otherwise, it looks like, WotC tricked us, made us buy all these collector's boosters that never had the ring in it anyways. So somebody had to pull the ring. And the best way to guarantee that somebody opens a box of it is if you seed it and give it to somebody. So I still think it's kind of out there. I don't think it was ever given to stores, but that's just my theory. Again, rumor mill, all that stuff. Solar Games being like, tinfoil hattie, we're going to get abducted by aliens, and the aliens are actually where the owners of this one ring, right? Could be. But there's that. Anyways, super exciting news. As predicted, Lord of the Rings collector boosters should start crashing now. I'm thinking around the 280 to 300 range is probably more like reasonable for that box. And honestly, if you like the set, if you like the cards, I think there's actually a good price point that we're going to get close to soon that you may want to pick it up. Because with more people kind of losing hope with the golden ticket being pulled, with that information actually going out there. Because one of the other problems that we're seeing now is not everyone knows this information. That's why I'm making this video. With that information out there, though, people are going to start actually like selling or not buying any more collector's boosters, which will, again, push that price down. And people are going to overreact. Remember, rubber band theory here, right? People are going to overreact and say, this used to be $500 or $600. Now it's no longer worth it. In fact, this should be zero, right? They're going to think this way. It's not true. And they're going to sell super low. Everyone's going to try to cash out. And then at some point, the smart money, you'll see, they're going to start buying like crazy. Once it hits, 200, 220, where I think 200 will be way below what this the market value for this box should be. But if it hits that point, I know I'm going to start buying. I know a lot of other people are going to start buying, probably around that price. But we're not going to go crazy because maybe the market overreacts even more and sells more into the market. right? Maybe we can get like even better price point. I doubt it. I think 200, if it even gets there, will be the lowest that we'll ever see this collector booster. It will pick back up. And the reason is because, look, Lord of the Rings, super iconic, super legendary. The lore's on point. The cards are good. I like the artwork. I think it's super simple. It's the one of the few showcase frames I really like. And yeah, I think long term it's going to be fine, even without the One Ring being in the boxes anymore. So that's going to do it for me for today. Mark Sola Games. Stay classy, everyone.